By a show of hands, how many of us in here can confidently say we love ourselves? There's a lot of confident people in here. Can anyone say that happened overnight, though? I know I can't. For me, the wrong decisions and hardships I've endured serve as a constant reminder of the negative spaces I confine myself to. Spaces that were responsible for me running away from home and joining a gang at 13, getting shot at 18, then coming to prison at 20 and ending up with 22 years to life. See, I was in prison mentally long before the physical setting manifested itself. The mental constraints I placed on myself had me living in a realm where my actions were limited by the opinions of what other people expected me to be. My mother wanted me to go to school. My father wanted me to be his punching bag. My brother wanted companionship. And it seems like society just wanted me to be a gangster. That's the culture they depicted. And that's what they rewarded me for. When I think back, I guess it was like a bargain. I live up to their expectations, and in return, I get the love and acceptance I so desperately sought. Fair exchange, right? But what happened when someone dishonors the deal? I got good grades in my youth, but whatever semblance of love I got from my mother got overwhelmed by the beatings that I get from my father. Since her definition of love included allowing her husband's physical abuse, it became non-existent. Same with my brother. One day I was having a heated argument with my mother, and it turned into one of those, if you don't like it, you can get out type of conversations. I was 13 years old. She must not have known that in my mind, I was a grown man. I didn't pack anything. I just left. A week later, I saw my father. All I remember is a van coming to a screeching halt in front of me. My father hopped out, stripped me butt naked, and said, "Since you think you're grown, give me back the clothes that I paid for." Then my brother picked up the clothes. They got back in the van and drove off. The society I was a part of seemed like the only one that honored their end of the bargain. Being a gangster rewarded me with the definition of love and acceptance that I was comfortable with. So being a gangster is the mentality I confined myself to. I didn't fear death or prison because I had been programmed to accept that as a part of the lifestyle. This felt like family to me, and I joined the gang to make it official. Now, what attracted me and most youth to the gang culture is a universe of appeal, a sense of belonging. They give you a code of ethics, you take an oath and become a part of a financial network it seems has the power to liberate you from anything. You gain an identity, a purpose. The camaraderie of my peers positively reinforced negative behavior. The gratification was immediate, it was tangible. It felt like I mattered. I personally needed that. And although other children might need something else, the communities we cultivate for our children should have an overwhelming number of positive outlets that service their search for answers. For parents who don't have the financial stability to spend as much time at home, these external influences become like a second or third parent. The external influences we encounter as kids when we leave the house usually overwhelm what we are taught in the house. When up against gangs, poverty, an influx of guns and drugs, inadequate educational institutions, dysfunction in the household, social media, and all these other influences that take the time to nourish the thoughts that they provoke, whose responsibility is it that our children do not succumb to what we deem is wrong? If this is a society, it can't fall solely on the parents. Someone has to take accountability for the external influences our youth, minority youth, are overwhelmingly exposed to. Influences that reinforce negative behaviors with rewards that make mommy's little punishments seem obsolete. The punishment of prison, obsolete. Society has failed generations of minority youth by not providing the proper incentives to deter a life of crime. And who holds society accountable for their debts? All it takes is one bad decision, and a malnourished mind ends up owing a debt to society. We penalize them for mimicking behavior that they learn from us, for utilizing resources we provided them and making bad decisions. Our actions say, since you think you're grown, give me back the clothes that I paid for. It should no longer be acceptable to delegate the correction of young developing minds to the prison system. The money allocated towards perpetuating the prison system can be used to eradicate the need of it. I'm gonna say that again. The money used to perpetuate the prison system can be used to eradicate the need of it. I feel New York should be a state that financially incentivizes our youth to go to school, that rewards parents for having their children in after-school programs. There needs to be an influx of community centers that are open 24/7 and provide mentorship, that teach business classes, offer counseling services, babysitting, a plethora of positivity that promotes pro-social behavior and is accessible all day. These community centers can provide that sense of belonging to a struggling child while simultaneously providing jobs for the neighborhood. They can build a sense of unity, a sense of community, and contribute to a society that feels responsible for elevating each other. Something needs to be done to transform the life of crime from being appealing to appalling. All humans, all of us, go through stages of development, and most of us make bad decisions in adolescence. The most prevalent question in this stage of development is, who am I? I stand here because of the disastrous detours I took on a path to figuring out the answer to that question. Unfortunately, my path included causing a lot of people pain. Age does not excuse the pain I've caused. My pain does not excuse the pain I've caused. The regret that I feel plagues me every day. I'm sorry that it took so much for me to figure out how to love myself. Once I did, though, I courageously liberated myself and others from that gangster mentality. Thank you. I began to live up to my expectations. It didn't happen overnight, but just 3 years of loving myself has resulted in leaving the gang life alone, I've acquired almost every certificate this prison has to offer, a lot of programming under my belt. I'm in college and pursuing entrepreneurship. I'm a husband and proud stepfather, my wife in the audience, to a beautiful 5-year-old girl. Once I began to give myself that love and acceptance, the possibilities became limitless. I'm paying my debt to society. My name is Javon Perry, and I hope my story challenges society to reinvest that payment into a systematic approach that results in less minorities having to endure prison. Thank you.